Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very carefully. Life is going to hand you some tough blows. People are going to disappoint you. They're going to leave. And sometimes the ones who leave will leave for someone else. But you know what? That's not the end of your story. No, not at all. In fact, that's just the beginning of something better. You want to know why? Let me tell you. When someone leaves you for someone else, don't you dare waste one more second wondering if there was something wrong with you, because there ain't. You're not the problem. That person wasn't the one. You've got to stop chasing people who are running away from you. Stop chasing that love that was never really love. You've been given an opportunity, a gift, an opportunity to grow. It might hurt right now, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You're going to have days where you're angry. You're going to have days where you feel like your world is falling apart. But listen to me when I tell you this. That's the time when you're closest to your breakthrough. You just have to trust yourself. So now, what do? What happens next? First, you got to walk away from the hurt. Leave that pain behind and stop dragging it around. You don't need it anymore. You got to stand up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. Don't go backward. That's what they want you to do. They want you to chase them, beg for them, cry over them. But here's the thing. The moment you stop chasing them is the moment you take your power back. Do you hear me? You take your power back. You stop letting them dictate your happiness. You stop letting them hold the keys to your peace. I don't care if they left for someone else. I don't care how bad it hurts right now. You have one choice. You can sit there and wallow, or you can get up and show the world what you're made of. It's time to walk away from the nonsense, from the games. It's time to leave behind what's not serving you. And I promise you, once you do that, watch how everything starts to fall apart for them. It might take some time, but it will happen. You'll see them looking back, wondering how you managed to rise when they thought you'd fall. You're stronger than you think. The moment you stop allowing someone else to control your emotions, you regain control over your own life. And that's when the real magic happens. So stop worrying about them. Stop letting them live rent-free in your head. You don't need them. You never did. I'll say it again. Watch them fall apart while you rise. Watch them regret leaving you. Watch them wish they never walked away, because in the end, the one who is left standing is the one who knew their worth all along. When someone leaves you for someone else, it's easy to start questioning yourself. You might think, what did I do wrong? Or why wasn't I enough for them? These are natural reactions when you feel abandoned, rejected, or betrayed. You might look for reasons, try to pinpoint mistakes you made, or convince yourself that you could have been better somehow. But let me be clear. The fact that they left you does not diminish your value, and it doesn't reflect who you are as a person. The truth is, their decision to leave was not about you. It's about them and their own journey, their own needs or their own struggles. We often make the mistake of personalizing another person's decision to leave. We get caught up in thinking that if only we had been different, done something differently, or acted a certain way, they would have stayed. But that's an illusion. People leave for many reasons. Reasons that are often beyond your control and have nothing to do with your worth. You might be the most loving, most supportive person, but if someone is not in the right place emotionally or mentally to appreciate you, they will not stay. And that's their issue, not yours. It's a reflection of their inability to see your worth, not a reflection of your actual value. The danger in internalizing their departure is that it starts to eat away at your confidence and self-esteem. If you tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you're somehow unworthy because they chose someone else, you'll start believing it. You'll start to carry this false narrative that there's something inherently wrong with you. But the truth is, just because one person couldn't recognize your value doesn't mean the world won't. You are not defined by the decisions someone else makes. They don't hold the power to determine your worth. Your worth is intrinsic, and no one has the ability to take that from you, no matter what happens. It's also important to remember that people grow and change, and sometimes they outgrow relationships. This is a reality of life, and while it's painful, it doesn't mean you are lacking in any way. Sometimes relationships fall apart because both people are on different paths, and that's just part of the journey. It doesn't make you less than. In fact, it means that there's a bigger, better plan for you that you might not see just yet. The end of this chapter opens the door to new possibilities, new growth, and a deeper understanding of yourself. Another thing to consider is that we often place the blame for a breakup solely on ourselves, when in reality, relationships are a two-way street. It's easy to think that You're the one who caused the breakup. But relationships involve two people, and it's not always just one person's fault when things fall apart. Both parties contribute to the dynamic, and sometimes things simply don't align anymore. You may have tried your best, but that doesn't mean you were the problem. If someone leaves you for someone else, they may not have been emotionally mature enough or honest enough to communicate their feelings. It's important to recognize that in many cases, their departure is a result of their inability to deal with the situation properly. The idea that you are not enough also implies that there is a definitive standard of being enough. But what is enough? The truth is, no one is perfect. No one is a flawless partner. Relationships require work, compromise, and mutual respect. But they also require emotional availability, honesty, and a willingness to grow together. If someone couldn't appreciate you for who you are, then that's their shortcoming. It's their inability to value the love, care, and qualities that you brought to the table, and there is no shame in that. It doesn't make you any less of a person. It simply means that you weren't the right fit for each other at that moment in time. Finally, let's talk about the importance of not letting their departure define how you see yourself moving forward. It's crucial that you take a step back and remind yourself that their decision to leave is not a reflection of who you are, but rather a reflection of their journey. People come in and out of our lives for reasons that we may never fully understand. Sometimes they leave because they need something else, something that they think they can find with someone else. But that's not your problem. Your job is to take care of yourself, to nurture your own growth, and to move forward with the understanding that there is someone out there who will appreciate and love you for everything that you are. Don't internalize the departure as a personal failure. Instead, recognize that their decision is just one part of your story, not the entire narrative. You are not less than. You are not broken. You are whole, and you have the power to create a life full of love, purpose, and fulfillment. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about proving to yourself that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness. So, let go of the blame, let go of the guilt, and most importantly, let go of the idea that you are not enough. Because you are, and you always will be. When someone leaves you for someone else, it's incredibly tempting to chase after them. You might find yourself wanting to reach out, send that message, or make that call, hoping that maybe, just maybe, they'll come back to you. But listen to me very carefully. Stop chasing people. It's hard to accept, but the truth is that when you chase someone who's already chosen to walk away, you only continue to diminish your own value. You're giving up your power. And the longer you chase, the further you drift from finding the peace and healing you need. Why do we chase people? It's because at a core level, we want to feel validated. We want to feel loved. We want to be the one that makes them happy. It's natural to crave that connection, to desire their affection and approval. But here's the thing. Love should never feel like a pursuit. Love should be mutual. It should be something that comes naturally, something that both people invest in. If they've left, it means they're not giving you that. And no amount of chasing will change their mind or make them value you more. All it will do is prolong your pain and delay the healing that needs to happen. One of the hardest truths to accept is that you can't force someone to love you, and you can't beg someone to stay. The moment you start chasing them, you give them the power to determine your happiness, and you lose sight of your own worth. Think about it. If someone truly cared about you, would they leave you in the first place? If they truly valued you, would they walk away without hesitation? Chasing someone who doesn't choose you is a dangerous game. It's like running after a bus that's already left the station. It's a waste of time, energy, and emotion. It's essential that you understand chasing someone is not love. It's desperation. It's wanting something that you believe you need, when in reality, you don't need it. Love is not about desperation. It's about two people coming together because they want to, not because one of them is pleading for it. The moment you start chasing, you make it clear to the other person that you'll settle for anything just to have them. But let me tell you, you deserve more than that. You deserve someone who sees your worth without you having to beg for it. You deserve someone who wants to be with you as much as you want to be with them. Chasing someone also means you're not giving yourself the space to heal. When you're focused on trying to get someone back, you're not allowing yourself to move on, to find closure, or to grow from the experience. Instead of focusing on what you can't control, the other person's feelings, you need to focus on what you can control, your own growth and healing. By chasing after them, you're clinging to the past and you're blocking yourself from the future you deserve. You're telling yourself that your happiness depends on someone else's presence in your life, and that's simply not true. One of the most empowering things you can do after a breakup is to let go, to stop trying to control the outcome of the relationship. When you let go, you stop putting yourself in a position where someone else has the power to dictate your happiness. You stop putting your emotional well-being in the hands of someone who has already shown that they're willing to walk away. By releasing them, you are telling yourself that you are worth more than chasing someone who doesn't appreciate you. And by doing so, you open yourself up to the possibility of real love. Love that's mutual, love that's healthy, and love that makes you feel valued every single day. Chasing people is an unhealthy cycle that only keeps you stuck in the past. Think about it. How many times have you gone back to someone who wasn't good for you, hoping that this time things would be different? How many times have you reached out, sent a text, or tried to make things right, even though deep down you knew that the relationship wasn't healthy? Each time you do that, you're feeding into the cycle of hurt. You're telling yourself that the pain you feel is worth the pursuit, and that the person who hurt you is somehow deserving of your time and energy. It's a vicious cycle that only keeps you from moving forward. What you need to do now is stop chasing them. Let go of the hope that they'll change their mind or come back to you. Instead, focus on yourself. Start building the life that you want to live, independent of them. Start putting your energy into your own happiness, your own growth, and your own future. You'll find that when you stop chasing, you stop feeling desperate. And that's when the real power comes back into your life. When you focus on your own well-being, on your own happiness, and on your own future, you attract people who will value you the way you deserve. You start to see that you're worthy of more than the chase. You're worthy of love that's real, deep, and unwavering. I know it's not easy. I know that it's tempting to reach out, to try one more time, but you have to trust me on this. Let them go. Stop chasing, stop begging, and stop hoping that they'll return. Because while you're chasing them, you're missing out on all the things that are waiting for you just around the corner. You don't need them to complete you. You're already complete. And when you stop chasing them, you make space for something better to come into your life. You make room for a future that's full of love, growth, and the realization that the most important relationship you have is the one with yourself. When someone leaves you for someone else, it's easy to feel defeated. The emotional sting is real, and it feels as if the ground beneath you has been pulled away. But here's something that most people fail to realize in the midst of their hurt. This is actually an opportunity for growth. Pain is often a gateway to personal transformation. We don't grow when things are easy or comfortable. We grow when we face adversity, when we're pushed to our limits, and when life forces us to confront the parts of ourselves that need healing. This moment of heartbreak, as painful as it is an opening, a chance for you to rise up stronger, wiser, and more aware of your own strength. The first step in this journey is to acknowledge the pain, but not allow it to define you. It's crucial that you don't fall into the trap of seeing this breakup as something that diminishes your value. You are not less than because someone left you for someone else. Instead, recognize that this is an opportunity for you to shed the old versions of yourself that no longer serve you. In relationships, we often lose sight of who we are as individuals. We get so wrapped up in the dynamics of the relationship that we forget to nurture our own personal growth. This breakup is the chance to reconnect with the essence of who you are, to reawaken parts of yourself that may have been neglected. This is your time to rediscover your passions, your hobbies, and your goals, things that may have taken a back seat while you were focused on someone else. What did you used to love doing before the relationship? What dreams did you have for your future that you let slip away? Take this time to dive into those passions again. Start a new project, sign up for that class you've always been interested in, or explore a new interest you've been curious about. Don't let this breakup define you as someone who is heartbroken and lost. Instead, use it as fuel to reclaim the parts of yourself that make you whole, the things that make you unique and special. Another aspect of growth is learning from the experience. Yes, it's painful, but every experience in life holds a lesson. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? Were there things in the relationship that I ignored or overlooked? Were there red flags that I didn't pay attention to? Did I lose sight of my own needs or put myself second? This isn't about placing blame on yourself or the other person. This is about being honest with yourself and using this as an opportunity for self-reflection. Personal growth comes from having the courage to look inward and acknowledge the areas of your life that need improvement. You're not perfect, and neither is anyone else. But the ability to reflect, learn, and evolve is what leads to real growth. There's also an element of emotional growth that happens after a breakup. Heartbreak forces you to confront emotions you may not have wanted to deal with, but that's how healing happens. You can't move forward until you process the pain, the anger, the sadness, and even the relief that comes with letting go. This is a crucial step in your journey of growth. Allow yourself to feel everything you need to feel. It's okay to cry, to be angry, and to grieve the loss of the relationship, but don't stay stuck there. The goal is not to wallow in the pain indefinitely, but to use it to fuel your emotional resilience. You have the capacity to heal and to move on from this, and as you do, you will become emotionally stronger, more self-aware, and better equipped to handle future challenges. In addition to emotional growth, there's also spiritual growth that can come from this kind of experience. Heartbreak often forces us to examine our deeper beliefs about love, life, and ourselves. We begin to question why we were hurt, what we believe about love, and what we want in the future. This is an opportunity to reconnect with your higher self, to seek guidance from within, or even from a spiritual practice that resonates with you. If you are someone who believes in a higher power, this can be a time to deepen your faith and trust in the process of life. Even if you don't have a specific spiritual practice, this time can serve as a chance for you to connect with your inner wisdom and find peace in knowing that this too shall pass. Growth doesn't just happen automatically. It requires effort. It requires you to take action and actively work on yourself. This is not the time to remain stagnant or wallow in self-pity. This is the time to take the lessons learned from this breakup and use them to propel you forward. Whether it's becoming more assertive in expressing your needs, learning to set boundaries, or letting go of toxic habits, there's no better time than now to make positive changes. Remember, you are in control of your own destiny. You get to choose how you move forward, and you can choose to turn this painful experience into something that makes you a stronger, more resilient person. Ultimately, growth is about reclaiming your power. You may feel powerless right now, but this is the moment where you take your life back. This breakup does not have to be the end of your happiness. Instead, it can be the catalyst for the next chapter of your life. A chapter where you are empowered, confident, and fully aware of your worth. You don't need anyone else to define your happiness or your future. The power to create a new life for yourself lies within you. The pain you feel now is temporary, but the strength you'll gain from this experience will last a lifetime. Embrace the growth that is possible in this moment, and let it guide you to a brighter, more fulfilling future. When someone leaves you for someone else, it's easy to bury the pain, suppress it, or try to move on quickly in the hopes that it will simply disappear. But here's the truth. Embracing the hurt is one of the most important steps in your healing journey. It might seem counterintuitive to welcome pain, but the reality is, you can't heal what you refuse to feel. The hurt you're experiencing right now is a natural response to loss, and it's something you need to face head-on in order to move forward. The moment you allow yourself to truly feel the depth of that pain is the moment you begin to release its hold on you. Embracing the hurt doesn't mean wallowing in it, drowning in it, or letting it define your life. It simply means acknowledging the pain and allowing yourself to sit with it. The pain is there for a reason, and denying it will only prolong the healing process. Too often, people think they need to be strong or move on as quickly as possible, but that's not the healthiest approach. In order to move forward, you must first face what you're going through. Denial only causes more suffering in the long run, because you're not addressing the core issue. Allow yourself the space to grieve. Grief isn't just for the death of a person, it's also for the death of a relationship, the death of a dream, or the loss of something that once felt stable and secure in your life. There's no timeline for grief. Some days, you'll feel like you're making progress, and other days the pain will hit you out of nowhere, knocking you down, and that's okay. Healing doesn't follow a set path, and you don't need to rush it. Feel the emotions as they come, whether it's sadness, anger, frustration, or even relief. These emotions are all part of the process. What matters is that you don't suppress them. By embracing your hurt, you honor your own emotions and give yourself permission to heal at your own pace. You don't need to put on a brave face for anyone else. It's your journey, and you get to decide when you're ready to let go of the pain. As you embrace the hurt, you'll start to notice that it begins to lose its intensity. When you suppress emotions, they stay buried inside you, festering and growing, making it harder for you to let go. But when you acknowledge your pain, you give it the space to exist and eventually to dissipate. Think of it like a storm. When you stand in the rain and let it pour over you, eventually it will pass. But if you try to ignore the rain or run from it, it will keep following you. By letting yourself feel the hurt fully, you begin to release it. You start to understand that the pain doesn't have to last forever. It's simply a part of the process, a chapter in your story that will eventually fade as you heal. It's also important to remember that hurt doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. We are all vulnerable to the ups and downs of life. And when we allow ourselves to feel our emotions fully, we become stronger, not weaker. Pain teaches us about resilience. It shows us how we can get through the hardest of times and come out on the other side with more wisdom, more strength, and more compassion for others who are also hurting. Embracing the hurt isn't about being a martyr or staying stuck in pain. It's about understanding that the pain has a purpose. It's a necessary part of the healing process that will eventually lead you to emotional maturity and growth. Another key to embracing the hurt is realizing that this pain doesn't define you. Just because you're hurting right now doesn't mean that this moment will last forever. It's just a season, a phase, a temporary feeling. Too often, when we're in the midst of pain, it can feel like it's all-consuming. It's hard to see beyond the hurt, and we may start to believe that we'll never feel whole again. But the truth is, this pain will pass. You will find peace again. You will find happiness again. And in the process, you'll come out of this stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling whatever life throws at you in the future. Embrace this as a moment of transformation. This is where you start to evolve into the person you're meant to be. Additionally, embracing the hurt allows you to release the past. So often we hold on to past relationships, memories, and experiences because they've shaped us, but they also keep us stuck. When you embrace the pain, you allow yourself to grieve what has been lost, but you also make space for something new to enter your life. You are not bound by what's happened in the past, even if it feels overwhelming right now. As you feel the pain and let it run its course, you open yourself up to new possibilities and experiences. You free yourself from the emotional baggage that comes with holding on to something that no longer serves you. Embracing the hurt doesn't mean staying there forever. It means going through the pain to come out on the other side. It's a process that allows you to rebuild yourself, to find strength in your vulnerability, and to come to terms with what happened. By feeling and processing the hurt, you can begin to move forward with a clearer, stronger sense of self. You can heal, you can grow, and most importantly, you can start anew. But first, you have to allow yourself the grace of feeling the hurt. You have to honor the pain and know that even though it feels like a storm right now, it will eventually pass. And when it does, you'll be ready to step into a new chapter of your life, empowered and at peace with who you are. One of the most difficult things to do when someone leaves you for someone else is to let go of the resentment. It's easy to fall into the trap of bitterness, anger, and even hatred. You may feel that the person who left you wronged you, and it can seem almost impossible to release the negative emotions tied to the betrayal. But holding on to resentment is like holding on to a burning coal. It hurts you more than it hurts the other person. The truth is, resentment will only keep you stuck in the past, preventing you from moving forward and finding peace. Letting go of the anger, the hurt, and the resentment is essential for your own healing. Resentment is a poison that seeps into your mind and body, affecting your mood, your actions, and even your relationships with others. When you hold on to resentment, you allow the person who hurt you to continue controlling your emotions, even though they're no longer in your life. You're giving them power over your present by letting them occupy space in your mind. Every time you replay the situation in your head, every time you relive the pain, You're keeping yourself tied to a negative energy that prevents you from growing. It's like carrying a heavy weight around that only slows you down. Letting go of resentment is your way of putting that weight down and choosing to free yourself. The first step in letting go of resentment is recognizing that it doesn't serve you. Resentment is often a reaction to feeling hurt, betrayed, or disrespected. But holding on to those feelings indefinitely will not change what happened. It will not make the person regret their actions or cause them to return to you. It will only create a cycle of negativity that impacts your mental and emotional well-being. Holding onto resentment keeps you anchored to the past, and if you want to move forward and embrace your future, you have to release it. Recognizing that resentment has no power over your life is the key to unlocking your freedom from it. Another crucial aspect of letting go of resentment is accepting that people's actions are beyond your control. The decision to leave you, the choice to move on, is something that you cannot change. No matter how much you want to alter the past or force a different outcome, the reality is that people make decisions based on their own feelings, needs, and circumstances. It may not seem fair, but accepting the situation for what it is allows you to release the grip that resentment has on you. When you stop trying to control things you can't change, you start to reclaim your own peace of mind. Resentment thrives on a need for control and a desire to rewrite the past. The moment you accept that things unfolded as they did, you start to let go of the anger that holds you back. It's also important to recognize that forgiving doesn't mean condoning their actions. Many people avoid forgiveness because they think it means they're excusing what the other person did or somehow letting them off the hook. But forgiveness isn't about them, it's about you. It's about releasing yourself from the grip of negative emotions that prevent you from healing. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you agree with what they did or that you want them back. It simply means you're choosing to free yourself from the emotional burden that comes with holding on to resentment. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, not the person who wronged you. Letting go of resentment also involves reclaiming your peace. The longer you hold on to anger, the longer you allow the negative emotions to cloud your life. You might find that you are constantly angry, bitter, or frustrated, and it starts to seep into other aspects of your life, your work, your relationships, even your physical health. The longer you carry that resentment, the more it consumes you. By letting go of it, you make space for positive emotions to take root. You give yourself the freedom to experience joy, love, and peace once again. Peace is something you deserve, and it's only by letting go of the past that you can begin to truly embrace it. Sometimes letting go of resentment also means changing your perspective. It's easy to look at a situation and feel like a victim, to see yourself as the one who was wronged and betrayed. But when you shift your perspective and look at it from a different angle, you might begin to see that this painful experience has offered you an opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve. Perhaps it's shown you the areas in which you need to grow, or maybe it has taught you something about your own boundaries, needs, or self-worth. By changing how you view the situation, you begin to see it as part of a bigger picture, one where you are the one in control of your happiness and emotional well-being. Resentment is often rooted in a limited perspective, but when you open your mind to the possibilities of growth and self-discovery, you begin to free yourself from its grip. Finally, letting go of resentment is an act of self-love. It's not always easy, and it often requires deep emotional work. But choosing to let go of anger and hurt is a profound act of kindness toward yourself. When you hold on to resentment, you're telling yourself that you are not worthy of peace or happiness. You're allowing someone else's actions to continue affecting your emotional state long after they've left your life. By choosing to release resentment, you're saying that you are worthy of emotional freedom and that you deserve a life free from the shadows of bitterness. Self-love is about putting your own well-being first, and letting go of resentment is one of the most powerful ways to take control of your own happiness. Moving on is one of the hardest yet most essential steps when someone leaves you for someone else. It's natural to want to hold on to the past, to cling to the memories, the hopes, and the dreams you had with that person. But here's the thing, staying stuck in the past will never move you forward. In order to truly heal and create a life of happiness and fulfillment, you must learn to let go and move on. It's not easy, but it's absolutely necessary if you want to reclaim your peace and your power. Moving on is about taking the first steps toward a future that's no longer defined by the relationship you've lost. One of the biggest obstacles to moving on is attachment, the emotional bond you have with that person. Attachment can create a sense of dependence on the other person for your happiness, making it incredibly difficult to imagine life without them. But the truth is, your happiness was never meant to be dependent on someone else. You are whole and complete on your own, and while a relationship can enhance your life, it should never define it. By recognizing that your self-worth isn't tied to someone else's actions or decisions, you begin the process of letting go and moving forward. You start to realize that you can be happy without them, and that your future doesn't have to be bound by the past. Moving on also means accepting reality. It's easy to fantasize about what could have been or what you wish had happened, but holding on to those illusions keeps you from embracing what's actually happening in your life right now. Accepting the situation for what it is, no matter how painful, is a powerful step toward healing. This doesn't mean you have to like it, and it doesn't mean you have to be okay with it immediately. Acceptance is about acknowledging that the relationship is over, and that continuing to focus on the past will only hold you back. You can't change the past, but you can control how you move forward, and that begins with accepting the reality of the situation. Another crucial aspect of moving on is disconnecting emotionally. It's easy to keep holding on to the emotional attachment even after the relationship ends. You might find yourself thinking about that person constantly, checking their social media, or replaying past conversations and moments in your head. But staying emotionally connected to them only keeps you tied to the past. In order to move on, you have to actively work on letting go of those emotional ties. This might mean unfollowing them on social media, avoiding places that remind you of them, or simply giving yourself permission to stop thinking about them. The goal is not to erase the person from your life entirely, but to create enough space so that you can begin focusing on your own healing and growth. One of the most powerful ways to move on is by creating new experiences. It's tempting to dwell on the past, to replay old memories or think about how things could have been different. But in order to heal, you have to step into the present moment and create new memories that have nothing to do with the relationship you've lost. Take time to discover new hobbies, revisit old passions, or try things you've always wanted to do but never had the chance to. New experiences will help you rediscover who you are outside of the relationship, and they will allow you to re-engage with life on your terms. When you create new moments, you give yourself something to look forward to and a way to build a future that's truly your own. It's important to recognize that moving on is not about forgetting. You don't have to erase the memories or pretend like the relationship never happened. Moving on isn't about pretending you didn't care or didn't invest emotionally. Instead, it's about learning to accept that the relationship has run its course and that you are capable of finding peace without it. You can still cherish the good memories without being tied to them emotionally. Moving on is about finding a new sense of self, one that isn't solely defined by the past. As you let go of the attachment and the resentment, you begin to rebuild yourself and create a future that's not bound by what you've lost, but inspired by what's yet to come. Another important part of moving on is forgiving yourself. Often, when a relationship ends, we blame ourselves, questioning what we did wrong or where we went wrong. But the truth is, relationships are a two-way street, and both parties contribute to what happens. Blaming yourself for the failure of the relationship only keeps you stuck in a cycle of guilt and self-criticism. Forgiveness isn't just for the other person, it's for you. Forgiving yourself means letting go of the guilt, the shame, and the regret. It's about accepting that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. You are allowed to make mistakes, and you are allowed to learn from them. Moving on means releasing the burden of self-blame and giving yourself permission to grow from the experience. Finally, moving on is about reclaiming your power. The longer you stay stuck in the past, the more you give your power away. Every time you obsess over the relationship, over the person who left you, or over the way things ended, you continue to allow them to control your emotions and your thoughts. But when you choose to move on, you take back control of your life. You begin to take responsibility for your own happiness, your own healing, and your own future. Moving on is a choice, one that requires courage, self-love, and a commitment to living life fully again. It's not about forgetting the past, but about choosing to not let it hold you back from the future you deserve. The process of moving on isn't instantaneous, and it's not always linear. There will be days when it feels harder than others, and that's okay. Healing takes time, but moving on is the first step toward truly living again. By embracing this process, you start to create space for new opportunities, new relationships, and new adventures. And while the road to moving on might be challenging, the freedom and peace you'll find on the other side will be worth every step. When someone leaves you for someone else, it can feel like a part of your identity has been ripped away. You might have defined yourself through the relationship, based much of your happiness and self-worth on it, and now that it's gone, it's easy to feel lost. But this moment of loss can also be an incredible opportunity to create a new identity, one that's completely your own, independent of the past, and rooted in who you truly are. This process of self-reinvention is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. It's time to step into a version of yourself that's not defined by someone else, but by your own vision, values, and goals. The first step in creating a new identity is to separate yourself from the relationship. The end of a relationship doesn't define who you are as a person. It's simply a chapter in your life story. It's crucial to shift your thinking and understand that you are more than just someone's partner, more than a role you've played in someone else's life. This doesn't mean that you ignore the value of the relationship or the lessons you learned from it, but rather that you recognize you are not defined by the relationship's outcome. You are not just someone who's been left. You are a unique individual with dreams, aspirations, and qualities that make you who you are. By detaching your sense of self from the relationship, you begin to reclaim the parts of yourself that may have been lost or forgotten. The next step is to rediscover your passions and interests. During a relationship, it's easy to become absorbed in the other person's world, neglecting the things that once brought you joy or fulfillment. Now is the time to revisit the hobbies, interests, and activities that made you feel alive before the relationship. What did you love doing when you were single? What brought you joy before you were focused on another person's needs or desires? Creating a new identity starts with reconnecting to those passions. Whether it's painting, hiking, reading, or cooking, diving back into things that inspire you will help reignite the spark of your individuality. These passions are part of what makes you whole, and by rediscovering them, you give yourself the chance to rebuild your identity on your own terms. In addition to rediscovering old passions, it's time to embrace new experiences that challenge and expand your worldview. This could be traveling to new places, taking on new challenges at work, or trying things you've always wanted to do but never had the time or courage to explore. Creating a new identity involves stepping out of your comfort zone and pushing yourself to grow in new ways. When you challenge yourself, you discover strengths and talents you may not have realized you had, and this will help shape the person you're becoming. It's not about running away from the past, but about creating new opportunities for growth and transformation. These new experiences will broaden your horizons and help you become the person you've always wanted to be. Stronger, wiser, and more capable of creating the life you desire. Building a new identity also requires setting new goals. Goals that are aligned with your vision for the future, not your past. What do you want to achieve in the next year, 5 years, or 10 years? What does success look like for you now, independent of anyone else? Take the time to sit down and reflect on your dreams and desires. This is your chance to chart a new course for your life, one that's driven by your own ambitions, rather than the expectations or dreams that were once shared with someone else. Start small if you need to, but be intentional about creating a future that excites you. The act of setting new goals and striving toward them helps solidify the new version of yourself that you're building. Another key component in creating a new identity is to surround yourself with positive influences. The people you choose to spend time with have a significant impact on your mindset and emotional well-being. Surround yourself with friends, family, or mentors who uplift you, challenge you, and encourage you to become the best version of yourself. The energy of the people around you will play a critical role in your growth. If there are toxic relationships or negative influences in your life, now is the time to reassess and potentially distance yourself from them. You deserve to be around people who support your growth, who celebrate your achievements, and who encourage you to reach for the stars. A strong support system is essential as you work toward creating a new, stronger identity. In addition to surrounding yourself with positive influences, invest in self-care. The process of creating a new identity can be emotionally taxing, and it's important to take care of your mind, body, and spirit. This can mean practicing mindfulness, engaging in physical activities that energize you, or making time for rest and relaxation. Investing in yourself, whether through meditation, therapy, exercise, or creative expression, will give you the strength and clarity you need to fully embrace the changes you're making. Self-care isn't just about pampering yourself. It's about nurturing your soul and creating the foundation for lasting growth. As you take care of yourself, you strengthen your sense of self-worth, which is crucial as you transition into this new phase of your life. Finally, embracing your new identity means trusting the process. It's important to remember that identity transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey that takes time, effort, and patience. You'll have days when you feel confident and strong, and others when you may question your decisions or feel uncertain about the future. But the key is to keep moving forward. Trust that every step, no matter how small, is part of your growth. There will be setbacks and challenges along the way, but don't let them derail you. Keep believing in the person you're becoming, and know that every experience you go through is shaping the new, empowered version of yourself. Trust that in time, you'll look back and realize that this process of reinvention was the best thing that could have happened to you. When someone leaves you for someone else, the emotional toll can be overwhelming. There is a lot of heartache, a lot of confusion, and a lot of pain. But throughout this emotional storm, one of the most crucial things to seek is your peace. Peace doesn't come from waiting for someone to apologize or for the situation to resolve in your favor. It comes from within, from your own capacity to let go, accept the situation, and move forward. Finding peace after being hurt in this way is essential not just for emotional healing, but also for reclaiming your personal power and sense of self-worth. One of the first steps toward finding peace is to acknowledge your pain. Denying or suppressing your emotions won't make them go away. In fact, it will only prolong the suffering. Allow yourself to grieve, cry if you need to, scream if you must, and feel everything you're feeling. Don't rush the healing process or tell yourself that you should be over it already. Pain is a natural response to loss, and it's important to give yourself permission to feel that pain. Only when you fully experience the depths of your emotions can you begin to heal. By accepting your pain as part of your journey, you take the first step toward peace. It's about processing what you've been through rather than trying to escape from it. The next step in finding peace is releasing the need for answers. When someone leaves you, it's easy to get caught up in a whirlwind of questions. Why did they leave me? What did I do wrong? What could I have done differently? These questions can keep you trapped in a loop of uncertainty, where you constantly replay the past in search of meaning. But the truth is, some answers may never come, and even if they did, they may not offer the closure you're hoping for. Peace comes from accepting that you may never have all the answers, and that you can't control other people's actions. You can't control the way someone else thinks or feels. What you can control, however, is how you choose to respond to the situation. Letting go of the need for answers and finding peace in the unknown is a powerful way to release yourself from the pain of the past. Another essential part of finding peace is detaching your self-worth from the relationship. When someone leaves you for someone else, it can feel like a rejection of everything that you are. You might start questioning your value, wondering if you're not good enough or if there's something wrong with you. But your worth is not defined by someone else's actions. You are enough as you are, and nothing that happens in a relationship can change that fundamental truth. Finding peace requires you to reconnect with your inherent value, independent of the approval or affection of anyone else. Recognizing that you deserve love, respect, and happiness, regardless of your relationship status, is key to building a peaceful, fulfilled life moving forward. The practice of forgiving is another integral part of finding peace. Forgiveness is not about letting the other person off the hook for their actions. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional hold that their actions have over you. Holding on to anger, resentment, or the desire for revenge keeps you trapped in a cycle of negativity. Forgiving someone who has hurt you doesn't mean condoning what they did. It means choosing to release yourself from the grip of bitterness. Forgiveness is a way of taking back your peace. It's about saying that you will not allow their actions to continue affecting your emotional state. When you forgive, you free yourself from the burden of the past, and you allow your heart and mind the space to heal. Another crucial part of finding peace is embracing mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment or attachment. It's easy to get stuck in the past, obsessing over what went wrong or imagining different scenarios. But peace comes from being present in your life right now, not living in the past or worrying about the future. Mindfulness helps you ground yourself in the present moment, allowing you to let go of thoughts that keep you stuck in negative emotions. Whether it's through meditation, deep breathing exercises, or simply taking time each day to focus on the present, mindfulness can help you regain your sense of peace by teaching you how to live in the here and now. The act of self-compassion also plays a key role in finding peace. It's easy to be hard on yourself after a breakup, especially if it feels like a failure or a betrayal. But being kind and gentle with yourself is essential to your healing process. Treat yourself with the same love and understanding that you would offer to a friend who is going through a similar situation. Acknowledge that it's okay to feel hurt, confused, and even angry, but also remind yourself that you are worthy of peace, joy, and love. Self-compassion means showing yourself grace even in the face of difficult emotions. It's a reminder that you're human, that it's okay to struggle, and that you are deserving of love and care through it all. Finally, taking back control of your life is essential to finding lasting peace. When someone leaves you for someone else, it can feel as though your world has been turned upside down and that everything is out of your control. But peace is about reclaiming control of your own life, your emotions, and your future. You have the power to choose how you react to the circumstances that come your way. Taking responsibility for your own happiness, making decisions that align with your values, and creating a life that feels fulfilling and meaningful, these are all steps toward finding peace. When you stop waiting for someone else to fix things and start taking ownership of your own journey, you reclaim your peace and sense of agency. You have the power to take control of your life, the power to choose peace over pain, strength over weakness, and growth over stagnation. Life is going to throw curveballs, and this situation may have been one of the hardest, but you can rise from it. You can rise not because of what they did to you, but because of how you decide to respond to it. You don't have to let this define who you are. You get to choose your path. Remember this: they may have left, but they didn't take your worth. They didn't take your future. They didn't take your peace unless you allow it. Your journey is just beginning, and this is not the end of your story. This moment, this pain, this heartbreak, it's a chapter, and it does not define your whole book. You're still here, and that means you have the ability to reclaim your life, redefine who you are, and rediscover your purpose. In time, the pain will fade, and you'll be left standing stronger than you ever were before. You will find new opportunities, new relationships, new joys. You will create the peace and happiness that you deserve. It all starts with believing in yourself, trusting the process, and moving forward.